All right, what's going on, everybody? It is 10 p.m. the night before. We just got to this cute little inn in Topsail, North Carolina. Making some pita chips and some hummus. And we're gonna try to get a couple hours of sleep. We're gonna be up around 5 a.m. Make some coffee, get everything out of my system that needs to come out of the system. And then we're gonna go get registered. That's what's after we move from here. So let's run that intro, and we'll see you at the Topsail Sledgehammer half marathon. We just checked in. I received a bag in my thing that I'm gonna pin to my tank top, which right now it has stopped raining. It's sprinkling a little bit, and it's like high 40s, so it feels pretty good. Yeah, like half of it is on sand. Regardless, this will be fun. Yeah, it's early, so we aren't the most morning people. Wait like 30 more minutes until it's a little bit more appropriate to be standing at the start line, and yeah, then we're gonna run a Sledgehammer half. One last check-in right before the race started. There's everybody getting signed up and all that jazz. There's Emily. There's the ocean. We're running on the beach. I kind of just found out that like over half of this is on sand, so we're just gonna kind of wing it with that. And from there, we'll run. I'll try to check in a couple times during the race. Again, it is a race, so I don't really want to be, whipping out the camera and doing stuff like that. So here and there, we'll open it up. I'll be recapping from the office. Maybe I'll go back and forth. All right, let's run a half marathon. So as the race got going, I shot a little bit of footage at the starting line. Still a little uncertain about how often my camera was gonna be out, but as you can see here, I got the group behind me. It was maybe about 15 to 25 half marathoners. Not a huge race, but it's still a lot of fun and interesting race at that. Moving on, the first about 6.5 were on pavement. The last 6.5 were on the sand by the beach. Got things going. Did shoot a little bit of footage around 2 miles. I'll show that right. So yeah, as you can see, the pavement's a little bit wet, but that really wasn't too much of a deal. There was some puddles, so we were sometimes, weaving in and out, trying to not get our feet as wet, which was a little bit pointless towards the end. Got to about the 3 mile mark, kind of had distanced myself from both the people in front of me and behind me, but then this one gentleman did catch up to me. Tall guy, looked like a strong runner, was listening to some enthusiastic music. He would kind of update me on what he was listening to or just sing the chorus. That totally didn't bother me at all. Honestly, I was excited to kind of run with someone. So from about 3 to 6 miles, I ran with this guy. We kept each other in check. We kept each other really set to like that 8:15, 8:20 pace. And we kind of reeled in a couple of stragglers. So 6.5 miles went in. I decided to kind of kick it up into just kind of another gear. I was thinking maybe if I'm really good at running on the sand, I can catch up and make up some ground. Running on the beach was interesting. You had to like really kind of figure out what color sand maybe was the most firm. I tended to run on where the shells were because that seemed to be, the darker the sand and more shells seemed to be a little bit more stable than the softer areas of the sand. Moving on from there, I will say that I checked in around the 10 mile mark. Was honestly feeling great, and I'll show you some of that footage right now. About 10 miles in, been on the beach for about 6 miles. Let's finish this. Here we go. So I decided to get the camera out just as I was coming into the finish. Thankfully, also my girlfriend got some footage from the sideline that is less jittery and shaky. I do apologize for that. The finish was right on the softest patch of sand, so it was pretty hard. I was up on my toes. My calves were kind of starting to cramp up, and I was just trying to get some really smooth footage, which I didn't manage to get at all. Yeah, let's check in. Waterside, last moments of the day. What were my thoughts? What are your thoughts, Kyle? All right, guys, so there we go. We just finished up the Top Sill Sledgehammer half marathon. I got my medal right here. We had a really good time out there. Not gonna lie, today was a bit of a surprise. I thought I was running on pavement. We ended up doing about 7 of the 13 on the sand. Yeah, still did about 150. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna go over everything, but this is me signing off on the day itself. This is probably a really good time to just say thanks for watching, and also to thank the sponsor of this video, Fleet Feet. Really a lot of fun to work with them. They've been doing a lot for just, you know, a small channel, which is mine. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the partnership and some of the Fleet Feet stories, and then I'm gonna pick things up back at my computer and we're gonna go over this half marathon. Pretty excited, had a lot of fun. It was a great training run. Looking forward to the full marathon in about 6 weeks. So that's enough for me. I'm going to go warm up in the car because I'm freezing. See you in a second. Fleet Feet is a one-stop shop for all your running/sports needs. With 5 different locations in the Triangle area, you can grab the newest model of your favorite running shoe or a gift for an active friend. Check out local running groups ranging from beginner to advanced, designed to help you succeed at any distance. Okay, so now that we got that all out of the way, let's do a little bit of recap and some highlights of the race now that I'm looking at the stats, and we are back at the I'm gonna call it the office, but really it's my apartment. We'll call it the apartment. So now that we're back at the apartment, we can go over some of the stats of the race. Fun fact, this is only my second half marathon, and wouldn't you know it, I now have a new personal best. According to STRAVA, I did do a 1:49:33. I was very consistent, you know, I was pretty much always around that low 8-minute mark. So overall, my mileage splits were really consistent, and that being said, that's kind of amazing that half of these miles were on pavement and in the second half were on sand. So some aspects that I can take away from this race is A, my fitness was right there, and B, I had good control. What else we got that was kind of interesting? One thing that's also interesting about this race in terms of looking at my stats is my overall heart rate was around 150 BPM. That's, you know, 5 hits below my Maffetone aerobic threshold. So that's an interesting thing. The first, you know, 6 miles, I think my heart rate barely got over 140. So that's pretty cool. You can clearly tell that as soon as I jumped into the sand, my average heart rate went up to like high 50s. Actually peaking out one time at 180. That looks like it was right when I switched from pavement to sand. So I'm gonna call that my acclimation moments, where maybe I was a little stressed. From there, it pretty much consistently sat at about 160, high 150s. So I think, again, that's something that kind of establishes that the heart rate, my overall conditioning is at a pretty good spot. Overall, stoked with my training, stoked with how the Sledgehammer half marathon went. Yeah, the whole experience honestly was pretty solid. Yeah, that's it. Maybe follow me on some social media platforms. Go ahead and throw me a follow on Strava if you want to stay up to date with all my training leading into the next race and everything that we have beyond that. That being said, enjoy your 2020, keep training out there, and ciao for now. I'll see you in the next video.